जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम वेलकम टू माय चैनल लर्निंग हब। आज हम स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं फर्स्ट ईयर इंग्लिश की बुक 1 के और बुक 3 के इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन आंसर्स को डिस्कस। इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन आंसर्स हम रिगार्डिंग बाइस लाहौर बोर्ड ऑफ इंटरमीडिएट एंड सेकेंडरी एजुकेशन लाहौर, बाइस गुजरांवाला, डीजी खान, फैसलाबाद, बहावलपुर, मुल्तान और सरगोदा के अकॉर्डिंग हम करेंगे। विच मीन्स के पंजाब टेक्स्ट बुक बोर्ड का जितने भी जो सिलेबस जिन जिन बोर्ड्स में इस्तेमाल होता है वहाँ के एग्ज़ाम पैटर्न के अकॉर्डिंग जो इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन हैं हम उनको डिस्कस करेंगे। बुक 1 को हम डिस्कस करते हैं शॉर्ट स्टोरीज़ को चैप्टर वाइज इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन। सबसे पहले चैप्टर 1 की तरफ आते हैं विच इज़ बटन बटन। और बटन बटन में इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन जो है, अच्छा इसमें एक चीज़ जहन में रखिएगा कि मैं टेक्सचुअल इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस प्लस एडिशनल इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस दोनों को डिस्कस करूँगी। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन है हमारे पास, वाई डिड नॉर्मा कंसीडर द टोन एंड एटीट्यूड ऑफ मिस्टर स्टीवर्ट ऑफेंसिव? वाई डिड आर्थर डिसएग्री विद हिज वाइफ? आप लोग अपनी टेक्स्ट बुक सामने रखें और निशान लगाते जाएं, और जो आपको लगता है कि टेक्स्ट बुक के अंदर क्वेश्चन नहीं है वो एडिशनल में हम लोग जो है वो लिखते जाएंगे। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, व्हाई डिड नॉर्मा परसुएड हर हस्बैंड टू एक्सेप्ट द ऑफर? व्हाट वर द रीजंस नॉर्मा गेव हर हस्बैंड टू एक्सेप्ट द ऑफर? व्हाट इज द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ आर्थर्स लाइफ इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी? एंड व्हाट काइंड ऑफ पर्सन इज आर्थर लेविस? नेक्स्ट चैप्टर इज क्लियरिंग इन द स्काई। इसके इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस हैं। सबसे पहले, व्हाई डिड द ओल्ड मैन नॉट फॉलो द एडवाइस ऑफ द डॉक्टर्स? नेक्स्ट है, हैड द सन एवर बीन देयर बिफोर? नेक्स्ट वन इज, व्हाट वर द नेम्स ऑफ द वेजिटेबल्स द ओल्ड मैन ग्रू ऑन हिज फार्म? व्हाई डिड द सन एट द एज ऑफ 6 क्राई? नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, why had the old man planted his secret garden? Next is, why did Jess's father build so many paths going up the hill? Next chapter is Dark they were and Golden eyed. इसके important questions को हम one by one discuss करते हैं. First one is, why did Harry want to go back to the earth? Next is, what climate did they face on Mars? Next one is, what was the condition of the Bittering family on hearing the news of the war on the earth? Next is, what was the condition of their houses? Next is, how much dangerous can a Martian virus be? What advice did Harry give to his people to go back to the earth? Next chapter is Thank You Ma'am. Question है first, what happened to the boy when he tried to snatch the purse? What was the conduct of the people when they saw the incident? How did the boy look physically? Why did the boy not run from the house of the woman? What was the nature of the woman's job? Why did the boy try to snatch the purse of the lady? Next chapter is the piece of string. Why did Manana accuse Hubert of picking the lost pocketbook? Next is, why did George give the pocketbook to his employer? Why did people make fun of his innocence? Why did he keep claiming his innocence till his death? Next chapter is the reward. What was the subject discussed at the club? How could a man become skating champion of Sahara according to Jorkins? What was the viewpoint of the parents of Gorgias? Describe the scene of inauguration. Write 3 lines. Did Gorgias use any shortcut to achieve his ambition? For how long did Gorgias have to stick to get his ambition achieved? Next chapter is the use of force. Question number 1 is, what was the behavior of the child towards the doctor? She had a fever for 3 days, hadn't she? Why did the doctor call the sick girl by her first name? Why did the parents rebuke her? What was the condition of the tonsils of sick girl? What was the girl hiding? Next chapter is the Gulistan of Saadi. आई जस्ट रियलाइज कि मेरी स्पीड बहुत ज़्यादा है, आप लोग शायद निशान ना लगा पा रही हूँ, तो मैं अब थोड़ा स्लो स्पीड में जो है वो वन बाय वन क्वेश्चंस को पास करूँगी ताकि आपके लिए निशान लगाना आसान हो. डेफिनेटली आप लोग बुक खोल के बैठे हुए हैं, बुक खोल के पेज पलटने में वक्त लगता है. सो क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 ऑफ लेसन नंबर 8 द गुलिस्तान ऑफ सादी इज व्हाट वाज द एडवाइस गिवन बाय Nushirwa to his people? Why did the boy look towards the sky and smile? What should be the role of a Qazi? Why did the king weep? How did the king recover? What is the name of famous book of Sheikh Saadi? Next chapter is the Foolish Quack. Question number 1 is what was stuck in the camel's throat? Next is what did the quack pretend to cure? Next is what did the quack do with the old woman? Next is for whom did the quack dig the grave? Next is why did the quack come back to the camel man? And why did the camel man strike the quack? This last question is not in your textbook. इस questions को note कर लें और additional में ही आप prepare करेंगे. उसके बाद next chapter की तरफ move करते हैं which is a mild attack of locusts. Question number 1 is why did the farmer throw wet leaves on fire? Next is what was the desire of every farmer? Next one is what was the condition of the trees? Did Margaret lose heart on the loss of the crops? Why are locusts compared with bad weather? Next chapter is I Have a Dream, lesson number 11. What was the cause of Negru's discontentment? What are the qualities of veterans of creative suffering? What should be the faith of Negrus? What should be the criteria of judgment for a person? Write down the song in your own words. The Gift of Magi, lesson number 12. How much money did Dela save for Christmas? Why did Dela sell her hair? Why did Jim sell his gold watch? Why did Jim not welcome her when stepped in? How beautiful was the gold watch chain? What was the wisdom in selling the most valuable things? Lesson 13, God be praised. First important question is what is an alias or what is Abul's full name? What was Abul's turban known as and where did it originally come from? What did Abu always carry with him? Describe Maulvi's appearance. How much did the Maulvi collect on every Eid? What was the name of Abul's elder daughter? Sorry, it is eldest daughter. What was the name of Abul's youngest daughter? What was the name of Abul's wife? Who was a member of the district board where Maulvi lived? चैप्टर 14 इज ओवरकोट और इसके इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस हैं. What was the color of the overcoat of the young man? Why had the people come out on the Mall Road? Why was the cat shivering? Who took the young man to the hospital? What kind of music was being played in one of the restaurants? Next chapter is the angel and the author and others. This is the last chapter of book 1. What time of the year was it? What does the author like about Christmas? Why are the noble deeds always a great joy to the author? बुक 3 की तरफ मूव करते हैं हम लोग. बुक 3 के हमारे दो पोर्शंस हैं. फर्स्ट वन इज़ प्लेज, सेकेंड वन इज़ पोम्स. और सबसे पहले हम प्लेस के क्वेश्चंस को डिस्कस करेंगे जो इम्पॉर्टेंट है रिगार्डिंग बोथ पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. तो हीट लाइटनिंग जो है दैट इज़ आवर फर्स्ट प्ले. इसमें एक चीज़ याद रखिएगा, बुक 3 में पोम्स अक्सरियत ऐसी है जिनके टेक्सचुअल में क्वेश्चंस नहीं दिए हुए या बहुत कम दिए हुए हैं, लेकिन उनके एडिशनल क्वेश्चंस जो कि फ्रॉम विद इन द पोएम आते हैं, आपको जो है उनको नोट करने के लिए अपने हाथ में पेन एंड पेपर रखना पड़ेगा. तो यहाँ पे जब मैं पोएम्स के क्वेश्चन आंसर्स की तरफ मूव करूँगी तो मेरी पेस जो है वो थोड़ी स्लो होगी. सो पहले है तो प्लेस में भी कुछ एडिशनल क्वेश्चंस हैं, लेकिन बहरहाल इतने नहीं. जस्ट मेरा ख्याल है फर्स्ट प्ले में ही हमने एक ही फर्स्ट प्ले में ही एडिशनल क्वेश्चन एक ऐड किया हुआ है. खैर, इसको देखते हैं, मूव करते हैं हम अपने इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस की तरफ. फर्स्ट वन इज, व्हाई कुडंट द गर्ल डिस्क्राइब द किलर? व्हाट वर द सर्कमस्टांसेस दैट फोर्स्ड हर टू लीव हर कार? What was the condition of the weather? Did the girl become suspicious of the first man as the play progressed? Who saved the life of the girl? Next play is Visit to a Small Planet. First important question is, how does Cretan prove his extraordinary power? Write 3 lines. What is the purpose of Cretan's visit? Can the people of the earth compete with the people of Cretan? How much damaging is violence in life? Write 3 lines. What type of life do you foresee in the year 5000? What is the role of general powers in the play? What is the theme of Cretan's study? Next play is the Oyster and the Pearl. First question is, why is Harry sitting in the barber's chair? What is Harry's philosophy? How much money does Harry charge for a haircut? Why does Clay need money? What happened to Clay's father? Who is Miss Muckitchen? How does she feel about her job? What kind of haircut does Miss Muckitchen want? Can Harry give a poodle haircut? Where has Clark Larabi been? How does he get to occupy the sea? What work does a man do? How far is it to Hollywood from Occupy the Sea? What kind of judge is Judge Applegarth? Who is Greeley? What does he have in a bottle? Why do they want Wozzeck to come? How does Harry describe the inhabitants of Occupy the Sea? What is Applegarth's complaint about the sea? Who buys the oyster and how much money does he pay? Why does Clark Larabi return? फर्स्ट पोइम की तरफ आते हैं जी. इट इज़ द रेन. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज हाउ कैन अ रेनी डे बी इंजॉयड. पोइम्स में मेरी पेस मज़ीद स्लो होगी क्योंकि यहाँ पे टेक्सचुअल से ज़्यादा एडिशनल क्वेश्चंस को हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं जो कि शायद आपको पेन एंड पेपर पे नोट करने पड़े. व्हाट इज़ meant by rich leaves? What is meant by rich leaves? What is meant by poor leaves? How does the sun shine after rain? How does the scenery look after rain? What kind of effect does the rain produce? Next poem is Night Mail. What does the night mail cross? What does the night mail bring? For whom does the night mail bring mail? What is betalk? What is personification? What personification is used in the poem? अच्छा, इस चीज़ को आपने जहन में रखना है. personification जिस जिस पोएम में इस्तेमाल हुई है, ये क्वेश्चन किसी भी पोएम के अकॉर्डिंग आ सकता है. लाइक वो आपसे पूछ सकते हैं what personification is used in the loveliest of trees a cherry now, what personification is used in the poem the liar. सो बी केयरफुल अबाउट दिस. personification की एक जनरल डेफिनेशन के साथ डिफरेंट पोएम्स में से आप लोगों को कोई भी एग्जांपल आ सकती है. सो आपके माइंड में एग्जांपल होनी चाहिए विच मीन्स कि आपको पोएम्स की टेक्स्ट को अच्छे से गो थ्रू करना है. हाउ डू द बर्ड्स रिएक्ट एट द अराइवल ऑफ द नाइट मेल? What is meant by blank-faced coaches? How do the sheepdogs react at the arrival of the night mail? Next poem is Loveliest of Trees, the Cherry Now. What time of the year is mentioned in the poem? What is the age of the poet? What is hanging along the boughs of cherry? Where does cherry stand? Why does the poet decide to go to the jungle? Why does the poet call cherry loveliest of trees? Why does a poet consider his life short? Next poem is Oh, Where Are You Going? What kind of feeling does a poet create in the mind of the reader? Whom does the reader represent? Whom does the rider represent? When does a valley become fatal? What is the effect of midden? What would be the effect of the dusk on the way? Write the central idea of the poem. Next poem is In the Street of the Fruit Stalls. What are the feelings of the poet standing in the dark? Why has the poet used cannonballs to describe the fruit? What balances the flame? How are the fruit piled? What are the dark children carrying? Why do the children forget the troubles of the world? Poem number 6 is A Sindhi Woman. What did the poet reflect when he saw the Sindhi woman? What kind of picture of the Karachi slums do we get from the poem? How does the Sindhi woman walk through the bazaar? What does the Sindhi woman carry on her head and what is its symbolic significance? What are the qualities of the Sindhi woman? Next poem is Times. Important question is what is the central idea of the poem? Next poem is Ozymandias. What did the travelers see in the desert? Where was lying the visage of the statue? What was written on the pedestal of the statue? The Feed. Poem number 9 by Ahmed Nadeem Qasmi. How many young ones are there to be fed? How do the young sparrows look when they cry? What does the grain of millet stand for? What is the mother sparrow holding in her beak? Next poem is The Hollow Men. Write down the central idea of the poem. What do hollow men mean? What do stuffed men mean? Why does the poet call the modern men the hollow men? Next poem is Liar. Write down the central idea of the poem. What does stream full of stars means? Next poem is Ruba'iyat. Who was Abraham? What is worse than slavery? Who cannot compete with the civilization of Makkah? What has made the efforts of the Muslims fruitless? Why is the soul of Europe empty of concord? A Tale of Two Cities. Which two cities are mentioned in the poem? Why did the people of the two cities look powerless and helpless? Describe the circumstances the victims had to pass through. Describe the scene of devastation. How did the Japanese bear the pains of Black Day? Next poem is My Neighbor Friend Breathing His Last. What is the effect of the death scene? Why does a person feel helpless on the death of a friend, without whose love is Bulla in loss? What is meant by decamping? Next poem is He Came to Know Himself. What makes one entangled in love? Why did Mansoor mount the gallows? What is bare truth? How did Allah come down on the earth, or why did Allah alight from heaven? What did Allah do to pour the cascade of love? Next poem is God's attributes. Which attributes of Allah are mentioned in the poem? What makes one scared of sinning, or what is the benefit of attributes of God? What is meant by accidental names? Give an example. Next, poem number 18 is The Delight Song. What images does the poet use in the poem to express his happiness? How can the crust of the snow glitter? What are the things that keep a person alive? Love, an essence of all religions. Write down the theme of the poem. Is life worth living without love? What is the effect of love? A man of words and not of deeds is our next poem. Write down the central idea of the poem. What is life without deeds? In broken images. Write down the central idea of the poem. What is the state of two persons, one who trusts clear images and the other who mistrusts the broken images? Why does a person question his senses when the facts fail him? जी तो ये थे हमारे गेस्ट पेपर्स जो बुक वन और बुक थ्री के टोटल मिला के। नेक्स्ट वीडियो में मैं आप लोगों के साथ बुक वन के जो ट्रांसलेशन पैराग्राफ्स हैं उनको भी डिस्कस करूँगी। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग। अगर आपको पसंद आया तो लाइक करें, और अगर कुछ मज़ीद आप चाहते हैं कि मैं उस पर वीडियो बनाऊँ तो कमेंट बॉक्स में कमेंट करें। थैंक यू सो मच। अल्लाह हाफ़िज़।